Jo, heute uns zu Sherlock. Wir wollen ja in das Anwesen, also wir waren letztes Mal schon drin, aber wir gucken uns das jetzt mal an. Wo sind das jetzt hier auf einmal? Ups, irgendwo anders. Warte mal. Ist die Party hier? Nö. Kurz gucken. Hier runter. Okay. Let's go. Klamotten haben wir schon an, also letztes Mal waren wir schon irgendwie drin. Das ist so White Eyes Shut Style, würde ich mal sagen. Gucken wir mal, hier so eine Geheimaktion. Geh mal rein. Moin Moin.
Welcome, sir.
So. Okay. Die alle anquatschen.
Hey, Answer. I see that look in your eyes.
My goodness, Sherlock. They made a blood fountain.
No, John, it's definitely not blood, just wine. Gahor, is it a guess?
Okay, ich dachte, hier könnten wir irgendwie Schweinkram machen. Okay, scheinbar nicht.
Codex Orchis. Why does this occult book sound like a flower?
Man weiß
Romantic
es nicht.
poetry and prose. Someone's in touch with their feelings. These medieval botany and chemistry books look even more satanic than the occult ones. Well-known and recent plays to keep up to date with the current trends.
Können wir irgendwie rauf? Jo, da hinten. Ah, oder auch nicht.
Do you know what was here before Manchios' family?
Okay.
That's what I like about this party. Bring me more dirt, Sherry. One more piece, and I can expose these base hedonists.
Excuse me, just one question. I have nothing to hide, sir, but I've never heard of this.
Was macht ihr hier?
Honey,
Tete
you
und
feeling
Separé?
lonely? I'll
Im
be your
Moment nicht.
friend.
Mhm.
Manchios had to enforce the masks.
I'll pin them down.
Stellvertreter,
Scoop.
okay.
Thank you, Sherlock.
So. Lass uns kurz mal gucken. Aha.
Sherlock! Friend! I wasn't sure you'd come.
Schuschu.
Werner, I see you are not yourself.
The more time you spend here in Cordona, the more I feel it my duty to bring you into our world and show you all we have to offer.
And what is on offer today?
Pleasure, indulgence, relief, and relaxation. You've earned some time for yourself, have you not?
Those who know me would say I'm incapable of it.
Nonsense. I refuse to believe there is anyone permitted to know Sherlock Holmes.
You may be right.
Then free yourself from inhibition and expectation. The night is young. and so are the guests. You should try to enjoy both. It's not healthy for handsome men to spend every night alone, and certainly not in a house filled with such melancholic memories.
I must admit, my travels have proven more taxing than expected. I'm less confident in my life and myself. A time of relaxation seems a distant dream.
So can I tempt you with a physical aid to your moral consolations? There's wine, of course. Something to smoke. Or perhaps an artificial paradise? Yes, something more spiritual. A potentiator to sharpen the mind. A 7% solution of, well, that'd be telling, but you must try it.
My mind already operates at a far higher level than most. I struggle to believe anything could improve it. My ultimate duty is to provide the world with truth, and I do that perfectly well as is.
Duty? You've never cared about that before.
Of course I do. Exposing a lie, revealing a fact, that is a moral responsibility.
That's not morality. Morals are what happens afterwards when truth collides with consequence. Do you ever follow up on cases you solved? Do you ever see what happened next, visit the victims, ensure justice is served in the courts? And how do you choose where to direct your attention? Are there not deserving causes to which your brilliance could be applied but isn't?
You ascribe me more power than I possess. I have a narrow skill set and work within that mandate. What occurs afterward is irrelevant.
With every action or inaction, you place a finger on the scales of morality. Many in the city would see you as abdicating your responsibility.
I haven't.
Not me, of course. Morality is subjective, just like truth. There is little to be gained from indulging in it, and far better things to indulge in. Now I must insist on easing any burdens I've placed upon your shoulders. Show yourself a kindness, and try this rather delectable concoction.
If this solution truly does assist with thinking, then well, perhaps it would be puerile to overlook an opportunity to study it. I'll take it with me.
Yes, Sherlock. Very good. And now, our evening begins in earnest. I just remembered. I'm sorry, Sherlock. My mind's delightfully impaired. Please take this key. It opens the altar room, past the library.
Pardon? Altar room? What now, Werner?
Go quickly and find our Fabio. Only you can make him talk. I'll join you in a minute.
Haben wir den schon mitgenommen? Junge, wo hast du den
Let
Schlüssel?
Fabio speak for himself.
Erstmal gucken. Schlüssel haben wir, okay. Let's go. So, und wo ist er? Der Altarraum. Da kommen wir nicht rein. Hier ist auch TTT im Separé. Wieder raus. Okay. So, hier geht's auch nicht weiter. Achso, das ist der Altarraum, der hier hinten durch. Okay, sorry. Na komm. Nein, ich bin wieder rausgegangen, oder? Ach, Junge, andere Seite.
Welcome, sir.
Welcome. So, das Ruben wollen wir rein. Mann. Oh, das sieht nicht gesund aus.
My God. Was he here this whole time?
Junge, was hast du da?
This crude tattoo partially covers as slave branding. This golden handle has a bloodstain on it. The dagger is heavy and sharp, but lacks balance. This worm-like sigil has been drawn with his own blood. The wound is deep. A precise strike reached the heart. A blunt force trauma may have suffered an internal hemorrhage.
Mhm.
The victim has clenched the fabric so firmly in his fist that it's nigh impossible to remove it. He died right here.
So, gibt ja genug andere interessante Sachen hier noch.
The sign reminds me of the astrological symbol for Mars. This one looks like a twisted symbol of Venus, drawn in a hurry.
Das interessiert uns nicht. Na gut. Geheime Geheimtür, okay.
Handcrafted and luxurious cufflinks. There's also a note. For my
Krasse
Fabio,
Manschettenknöpfe.
Manchios.
Mhm. Noch ein Schlüssel. Ich wollte gerade sagen, der kann ja gar nicht unwichtig sein.
The key is similar to the one that Vogel gave me. The capital F on the key fob might refer to Fabio.
Would you recognize me in one of these? I suppose not.
Könnte sein.
This is a different ritual.
Ups, sorry.
How can anyone accept such behavior?
A useful tool for a disguise arsenal. The pitcher is empty, but with puddles around it. Blood clots are adhered to the sides of the drain. Identical to the robes the guests are wearing.
Ist die Frage, wer es ist, ne?
Props, decorations, and tools for a more detailed set. Similar to the guests' robes, apart from the bloodstains.
Ne, den brauchen wir natürlich nicht. Komisch, ne? Mal gucken, wer den umgebracht hat. So, jetzt sind wir einmal rum, oder?
What about a quick pillow fight?
Diese Schlacht ist jetzt nicht, Diggi. Okay, eingeschmückt.
Enough cigars to burn down the entire mansion.
Und da brennt noch eine. Fidschi Fatschi.
Why don't people tidy up after themselves?
Kann man machen. Oh, Blut. Mhm.
An open wound spoiled the carpet. Blood. A sturdy bottle met a not-so-sturdy human. It didn't break only because it was unopened.
Die haben jemanden übergezogen, oder was? Was ist das hier?
The wounded person was here for some time.
Das ist dann geflohen wahrscheinlich, oder?
A bloody handprint on an armchair.
Wollte abhauen,
A
oder?
person leaned against the doorframe. They left a smudged trail of blood. There appear to be no further traces leading to the altar.
Okay, wer bist du? Ach, hier.
Werner, care to explain what is going on here?
On nights like these, it's not unusual for some attendees to get a little exuberant. It's part of the appeal. Unfortunately, it appears things have gotten out of hand. Yes, some are more prone to bend the rules of morality.
That's murder. I doubt there's anything left to bend. Why did you not tell me immediately? We were chatting about trivial matters for some time.
If I'm completely honest, Sherlock, I've consumed a rather potent cocktail of substances. My attention slips and drifts. But I'm glad I thought to call for you.
You sent me a disguise.
Oh dear, did I? Well, since I found the body, Mr. Manchios has agreed that you can investigate the matter. I promise my mind will behave itself going forward.
All right. Then pull yourself together, Werner.
Okay.
What is it about these nights that you are so eager to share with me?
Well, they're not always in the evenings, but they are in the shadows. People gather to test their boundaries in a safe and consensual atmosphere. Often with more stains than your typical crime scene. But that is the point. Who are we to judge?
I suppose that's fair. What about today, then? Was anything different?
Well, I was invited as a special guest. It was supposed to be a time of both divine and carnal pleasures. A scratch for every unconventional itch.
I imagine you're reeling from your shattered expectations.
On the contrary, there is still spectacle, stimulation, and release, merely in a different form. I like to let life entertain me.
Or death. Mr. Manchios is the owner of the manor, yes?
And the host of Cordona's most memorable parties. He promises even the ugliest guest a partner for the night. And for the ones with more unconventional tastes, Mr. Manchios provides other services.
What a caring person.
You cannot begin to imagine.
The police remain unaware of this tragic event?
Some of them may be hiding behind their masks. They conceal many things.
Ja,
But we
sind
didn't want
wahrscheinlich
the
mit dabei, ne?
authorities to create more problems. Besides, after a few cocktails, their incompetence will have soared to new heights.
How do you know I even want the case?
I promised you relaxation. If there's one thing I know about you, Sherlock, it's that nothing soothes you more than a good mystery.
How did you discover the body? In between guzzles of alcohol?
I was set to perform in a fecundity rite with Fabio and came to inquire further. It was a staged ritual where he was to play the principle of life.
And the rehearsal was unsuccessful?
Who knows? I found him alone on the altar, his blood dripping to the floor.
And then?
Then I called Mr. Manchios. He was panicking, so I told him about you. We left the room and locked the door. Then, we were
Filling time?
waiting for you was stressful. We indulged in some simple comforts. Overindulged, perhaps.
Were you well acquainted with Fabio, the victim?
Everyone knew Fabio, or wanted to. His beauty was the talk of the island. Too handsome to go unnoticed. He was magnetic. Fat wallets fought for the privilege of having him. He offered the pleasures of performance, and more.
When you discovered the body, was the door open?
No, it was locked. Oh, that reminds
Locked,
me.
okay.
It's a minor detail, but the first time I came to speak to Fabio, I left without entering, having been unable to open the door.
You didn't have the key?
No, I had it. Don't look at me like that. I was mostly sober. I suspect there was a key in the other side of the door, blocking the lock.
That detail may very well be major, Werner. Well done. So you returned later only to find the lock was not blocked?
Correct. After an hour had passed, I tried again and was able to unlock the door. That's when I discovered poor, handsome Fabio.
What about the fertility ritual? There was something about Fabio being a principle of life.
Fabio was supposed to portray the beauty of life's origin. Flowers, oil. Not this travesty that seems straight out the Inquisition.
So this ritual is not the fertility rite. What was it meant to look like?
It begins with a woman lying naked in a flower bed on the altar.
Natürlich.
She represents Gaia, the earth. As I cover her in oils, we chant for the principle. As our calls reach a climax, Fabio enters and copulates with her. After he finishes, I stab her with a dagger. That part's just pretend, of course.
But the intercourse is not?
I did not expect you to be such a prude. Are you a virgin? It is nothing to be
Oh,
ashamed of,
Mann,
but
ey,
it would explain
Alter.
the color of your cheeks. The fertility rite marks the start of our festivities. The principle of life is beautiful, intimate, essential. It must not be stopped.
Yet it appears that someone did stop it. What about the naked woman? Can you tell me anything about her?
Oh yes, Matista. She's one of Fabio's compatriots and a performer too. I haven't seen her today, actually.
So, Sherry, do you have any ideas about the case?
Perhaps. I think I can deduce what happened here. This elaborate box must be for the ritual dagger.
Ja, das denke ich auch.
The herbs here are Salvia divinorum. They have a slight hallucinogenic effect to emphasize the ceremony. This oil has a slight aroma of flowers and olive.
Und das hier?
The ointment smells mouse-like. I presume it is an aphrodisiac prepared from a Spanish fly.
Okay. So, hier hat er gesagt, es war abgeschlossen. Da kann man nichts sehen. Haben wir das Ding hier gut angeschaut, hier alles, diesen ganzen Raum? Denken wir schon, oder? Okay, also. Die Tür war zu, ne? Nee, der hat den Schlüssel da reingetan, oder? Ja, genau. Mhm. Aber nicht er, sondern irgendjemand, der das verhindern wollte, genau. Mhm. So, und... Nee, das hat er natürlich früher gemacht. Hat den... Da ist er erstochen. Vorne hat er den umgeschlagen, kaputtgeschlagen. Kann man sagen, oder? Und in dem... Also hier in dem Raum, da muss er dem natürlich einen übergezwiebelt haben. Ist so meine Vermutung. Nee, nicht gestochen. Das hat er nicht. Das würde er nicht überleben, sondern ein übergezwiebelt. Mit der Flasche. Ja. Mhm. So, und eigentlich müsste er sich dann ja da durchgerettet haben, wenn man sich das so überlegt, oder? Was kann man noch machen? Ja, okay. Prinzipiell, das kann man sich nochmal überlegen. Okay. Das kann sowohl das eine als auch das andere sein, aber ich würde mal sagen, der will ja davon ablenken, dass er den gekillt hat. Er hat sich letztendlich hier gewaschen, ja. Macht Sinn. Hat das Zeug hier ausgezogen, da reingepackt. Ne, nicht er, der Täter. Ja, genau. Ist das schon alles? Ja, ne? Das haben wir, das haben wir. Das Einzige, was ich jetzt nicht weiß hier, ob... Also er hat den ja also er hat ihn hier niedergeschlagen, hier rüber gezerrt und da gekillt, oder? Würde ich mal sagen.
The bottle was used as a weapon during a scuffle in the smoking lounge. Then, to ensure no one would interrupt, the murderer locked the door. The unconscious body of the victim was moved to the altar room. Once the body was on the altar, the murderer thrust the dagger into the victim's heart. Symbols were drawn with the blood. The wardrobe was used to hide the bloodied robe from anyone's eyes. The killer washed himself and took a clean robe from the hanger before leaving.
Are you alright? You're on the floor, not moving.
I think I know what happened here.
Junge, was bist du am Schwimmen, Junge? Mann, so, lass mal, Fallmappe ist klar. Ja. Okay, es passt noch nicht, reicht noch nicht, ne? Okay, wenn wir das jetzt haben, ist natürlich die große Frage, wie kriegen wir denn jetzt heraus, wer den genutzt hat? Das irgendwie prüfen oder so? Warum hat der keine Klamotten an? Achso, viele haben keine Klamotten an, sorry.
Oh, I heard the finale will be splendid.
Wer hat denn hier den guten... Hier, du da.
I'm so excited about the event.
Wie kriegt man denn was raus hier? Woran erkennt man die denn? Und die haben alle so ein Ding an? Der wird ja maskiert sein und hat Klamotten an.
All those beauties. Manchios is the best, as always.
Einfach mal alle anquatschen, oder? Achso, die haben alle irgendwie so eine roten... Ne, der auch nicht.
Are you able to help me?
I can't help you with that, sir. Oh, I heard the finale will be splendid.
Das ist jetzt die große Frage, ne? Sollen wir nochmal nebenan gucken, oder was? Dass wir... Ich würde ja sagen, wir gehen nochmal rein und gucken uns das nochmal genauer an. Das ist der Ausgang, oder? Oder ist das der Ausgang? Ich weiß es immer nicht. Das hier ist der Ausgang, oder? Nein?
I'm starting to put the pieces together.
Fabio was stabbed.
I see nothing gets past you, Werner. Yes, he was stabbed, but only after being knocked out in the next room and placed here. I do not yet know why.
So, who's responsible?
Well, it was one person working alone, and the murderer has now donned a robe. He or she could be hiding in plain sight. We have lost time, Werner, but your discretion may prove to be a benediction after all. The murderer had to have access to this room. After the crime, he used his own key to lock the door. So, who had the key to the altar room?
I'm not sure. As a special guest, I was provided one by Mr. Manchios. He should be able to tell you of any others.
Where can I find him?
Most likely in the main hall, entertaining his guests. He has a mask with golden stars. You can't miss him. But please be discreet. We don't want to risk disturbing the revelry.
Mehr kann ich mit ihm nicht
I know you
bequatschen.
can untangle this mess.
Okay. Also Typ mit einer Maske mit goldenen Sternen drauf. Und zwar auch der Typ von eben, oder? Bist du das? Ach nee, der steht jetzt hier direkt.
Kurt
Okay.
Manchios, I presume. I'm Sherlock Holmes.
Oh, you must be the one Werner told me about. What a sweet voice you have. It must belong to a handsome young man. Can I call you Sherlock?
As you wish, Mr. Manchios. Mr. Vogel asked me to help you. The body in the altar room requires answers, and quickly. I suspect the murderer to still be here.
What? Lower your voice. I don't want anyone to hear us.
Okay.
I need to find all those who had the key to the altar room. As far as I know, Mr. Vogel, Fabio, and you had access to it. Is that correct?
That is correct, yes. Also, Matista and Santos.
Santos? Who is that?
Santos Pinchetti, my major domo. In his opinion, at least.
I'd like to speak to Mr. Pinchetti and Matista. Do you have somewhere I might have a private conversation with them?
Of course, of course. Let me think. Matista is entertaining the guests somewhere, and Santos... Oh, yes. He will be busy with the servants. Or the cook. What's that noise? What's going on? Freeze, filth. You're under
Oh nein,
arrest.
die Cops. Knuff. Ich meine, in White Eyes Shut ist das doch auch die Musik, wo sie dann tanzen, oder? Man weiß es nicht. Ja, Sherlock, Digga.
Look at you. committed a crime, and now I have to free you, kiss your hand, and apologize for the inconvenience.
I did tell you that Mr. Vogel and I were innocent. I emphasized it in my statement.
Your statement? Thanks to some bigwigs who work for the so-called good of the country by releasing fleas like you. Thank God we have Vogel in this letter. Once I get to that goldfish, I'll...
Bigwig? Oh, my wretched brother Mycroft and his long nose.
Wait, did you say Mycroft? Mycroft Holmes? Are you the youngest son of Violet Holmes?
Was hast du denn gedacht?
You knew my mother?
Not personally, no. Not exactly. I was working on the paperwork for that case.
Would you happen to remember anything of the events?
Well, I didn't make the inquiry, but I remember seeing some notes. Why?
Perhaps we can negotiate. I could be quite useful.
Huh. Got you hooked, right? You know what? Stark and the others think they're the smartest here, thanks to you. Let me get this straight. Are you listening to me, lad?
I'm all ears.
Take this case. Report to me only, to Constable Harvey Oswald. I'll leave
Harvey
everything
Oswald.
I have on this table.
Den Namen kennen wir doch.
Find the murderer. Be a real copper. Question the suspects, make them sing, give me something substantial.
And if Mr. Vogel is not a suspect?
If he's innocent, then you can take your favourite degenerate away from here. If you slip or mess with the evidence, then trust me, your brother won't save you from my bludgeon. Meanwhile, I'll be
Alles
checking the
klar.
archive for you. If anybody asks, then you're a consulting detective.
Let's make a start then, partner.
I'm glad we managed to get the scoop before the raid.
Okay, cool. Aber können wir denn jetzt hier abhauen? Fallmappe, mal gucken. Also, das ist... Okay, Vogel weiß nicht. Okay, cool. Wir haben aber jetzt eine Abmachung mit ihm. Das ist ja auch nicht so schlecht. Gedankenspiel, lassen wir mal gucken, ob noch was dazugekommen ist. Nö. Ach so, Moment mal. Ne, das sagt uns alles nichts. Okay. Gut, aber dann würde ich sagen, von hier aus machen wir erstmal ein Päuschen, mehr beim nächsten Mal, ne? Also, bis dann. Ciao.